I really need to stop waiting till basically the last minute to do a recording session. But it's a little bit trickier with Switch games because it's a family Switch and not exclusively mine.
Persona 5 Tactica.
But welcome back to Persona 5 Tactica. Last time we finished the Third Kingdom. We are close to beating this.
The train is en route to its destination. Please have patience while we wait for its arrival.
You okay, man? Nerves still messing with ya?
Well, yes, a bit. I'm worried that we're headed to the final showdown without certain details being sorted out.
I feel the same. There's still the question of Irina and this world itself. Not to mention the fact that we're not even sure what exactly it is we're going to fight.
I am not sure how much help I will be, but if you'd like, I can share with you what I know. Please be aware that this will involve a degree of speculation, but I should be able to provide some useful information. I too have been conducting investigations into the nature of Salmael's existence. What I have found suggests it is the materialization of an instinct which exists subconsciously in the human heart.
Yep, it's another shadow.
So, do you mean it's a sort of malevolent god, like Yaldabaoth?
Unlike the god of control, who was born from a collective yearning for idleness, Salmael is, how should I put this? A universal instinct that's burdened man since the beginning of time. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to suffer. I don't want to die. Man's innate desire of self-preservation is another way to put it. One might call it a material embodiment of this instinct, born from an ocean of human subconsciousness.
So, kind of like the personification of people's consciousness that goes, "No, don't hurt me," right?
When you put it that way, it doesn't sound so bad, but...
Perhaps it was the passage of time, or perhaps it was a change in the nature of the human soul. In any case, a transformation occurred for the purpose of keeping pain at bay. Whether you consider the battles one fights to assert their convictions, or the will driving them towards their fruition, it seems to think that all potential sources of pain ought to be eradicated.
The words. Brain is struggling to keep up with, I guess, I don't know. That is an interesting topic to talk about. Because there's always going to be some form of pain, quotation marks, when working towards your goals or desires, but not all pain is equal. And how sometimes pain is what drives us forwards. So all without pain would be a bit like the world Yaldabaoth was trying to create, a world of stagnation, where nothing moves forwards. but at the same time, it's also ignoring the pain it's inflicting onto others.
If there is anything that does differentiate it from the god of control, it is that Salmayal believes it is protecting humanity by eliminating individuals with ideologies it deems threatening.
And there's your hypocrisy. By eliminating the individuals with ideas that it deems threatening, it's inflicting pain onto them. Hell, this entire adventure has been unleashing the trauma within Toshiro and the pain and the suffering inflicted to keep that kept him in line. So there's your hypocrisy.
So, Salmael thinks it's protecting humanity, huh? Oh, good grief, that's one of the worst types to deal with.
I agree with you, Morgana.
That means it'll do whatever it takes to destroy those it deems likely to cause people pain, correct?
The words and actions it has exhibited thus far would seem to suggest so.
Ah, crap. Now I'm confused again. So, in simpler terms,
Well, this might not be perfectly accurate, but Salmael's stated goal is to ensure that people don't get hurt or suffer.
What an amazing drawing.
And in order to accomplish that, it came to the conclusion that any risk taken to fight for something is undesirable.
But yes. But it's also not taking into account that why people are fighting back is because of the pain and suffering, usually.
Does that sound about right?
Furthermore, given our nature as humans, there will always be those who take a stand to initiate change. And that gives Salmael an endless supply of people to stamp out for having these dangerous ideas.
Dangerous ideas. In other words, they possess the will of revolution, a desire to take a stand against authority.
so this time around, Toshiro fits the bill, huh?
That would seem to be the case.
I'm very taken by this drawing here. Could I give my opinion on it?
Maybe leave that for later.
Alright, that's enough about that.
Yeah, honestly, well, the game didn't outright say it yet. Yeah, Samael in the context of Persona. It's different from, like, the mythological Samael, which... creative liberties, we'll call it. In the context of 5, they're the god of stagnation.
Now that we have a decent grasp on Salmael, what's next?
A bunch of quests. Tell me about this world.
This place. It's a spiritual world ruled by Salmael. It was built using your cognition, Toshiro. In more succinct terms, this is a metaverse Salmael constructed to break your will.
Task failed. Not even failed successfully. Task failed.
I have come to the conclusion that that is the most accurate way to describe it.
So yeah. This is a cognitive world of Toshiro's. It's not controlled by Toshiro, like, let's say the palaces are controlled by the shadows. or in Strikers, Scramble, whatever, jail's controlled by the monarch, vaguely. So this is a very unique case.
That seems like a lot of trouble just to take me out.
Under normal circumstances, it would have been able to erase your will simply by invading your mind. But a budding power to resist its domination had already taken root inside of you.
Power to resist? Oh, I get it. You mean a persona?
Precisely. The persona is an armor of rebellion, meant to resist those who would try to exert their influence over others.
In this case, honestly, actually thinking about it, that kind of, well, this kind of is an accurate statement for all the personas in the series to an extent. Considering, you know, all the personas goes, all the teams go against some shadow of humanity. And 3, at least with the modern, we're limiting things to the modern trilogy plus spin-offs. The original Persona 1, 2, and 3 are kind of fit the bill, but also different in a lot of ways. So it's like, and it's also like a case of canon until proven otherwise, like PC 98 Toho. But, anyways, like in 3, you're fighting against people's desires to have everything come to an end. And in 3, in 4, it's like it's resisting the fog of lies that plague humanity. And in 5 and Striker and Tactica, it's, you know, resisting the control of a malevolent entity. It's interesting. It can describe it, but also to an extent, because again, awakenings are different, work differently. In some cases, power of, in 3's case, it's a power awakened from facing death, and 4, it's from coming to terms with your shadow and accepting it. And 5, with the exception of Futaba, who does the 4 method, it's the will of rebellion. Yeah, it's interesting.
Like the Phantom Thieves, interfering with those who possess this power is no small task.
And you're saying this power of the will had started to take root in me as well?
It is quite plausible if there was something to trigger it.
Anything happened to you recently that rings a bell? Like, you ever think, I'm having a burst of willpower, baby?
That's quite a crude analogy. Oh!
So it did help you think of one.
It was the end of last year. As I told you before, I'd been undecided on whether to indict my father for his wrongdoings. And it was right around that time when you all hijacked the live TV broadcast.
Roland! In that shot, he really does kind of look like Roland from Runia. And it's ironic, I've played 2 different games games that have, like, on this channel, with man in suit with great power. I don't know, I just find it funny. But yeah, he really looks like Roland from Earnia.
Here I was struggling to stand up to my father while you were boldly proclaiming your beliefs to the entire nation. When I thought about it that way, I felt inspired to show the same courage as you. As for what happened next, well, you already know that part.
So this takes some place in the winter after the year after Persona 5. So all of the games could actually take place in the same timeline, because the winter of is when Royal's third semester, we'll say, happened. And then the summer of the year after, or it could be the year after, I believe, is Strikers, and that takes place over the entire summer. And then the winter of is this game. So yeah, it actually could take place in the entire timeline. Granted, there's no reference to each of the other spin-offs. Because I think this game and Strikers were in development at the same time, or Tactica came out sometime after Strikers. I don't know. Actually, no, I do know.
It's only a possibility, but a faint seed of power may have taken root within him then.
And it's the year. It's like Tactica did come out later, because I remember Strike was out and Tactica is yet to be announced. It hasn't been announced. This doesn't mean they weren't in development at the same time. Often games are in development years before they are announced. In most cases. So, it's totally possible that they were in development at the same time. Or similar times.
Of course, a persona can be awakened in other ways, too.
A lot of ways.
I see. I think I'm starting to understand.
There is plenty of ways. Like, okay, I've already mentioned, like, the 3 ones from the Modern Trilogy, but in Persona 1, 1 and 2, to an extent, there's the, what's known as the Master Persona game, which awakened the main cast's personas in both games, I believe. And then there's also rumors in 2, but granted, that is a different situation.
Agreed. In other words, with ordinary people, Samael is able to invade their minds whenever it pleases. But with Toshiro, the subtle emergence of a power to resist prevented it from interfering.
Correct.
These drawings are so, unique. Kind of at a loss here, but yeah, that sounds about right.
What do you mean, Morgana? I quite like them.
Additionally, Toshiro's-san being able to resist Samael's power meant he posed an even greater threat.
So it was willing to do whatever it took to snuff him out.
And the moment it made the decision to eradicate my will for social change, it created this place.
Yes. The metaverse we currently find ourselves in is called the Kingdoms. Samael Salmael must have attempted to purge your will by using the memories which lay dormant in your heart.
Well, I never would have guessed there was a war being waged inside my own mind.
Even so, your subconscious was putting up a fight against Salmael's invasion from the very beginning. And amidst it all, it's very likely that's when you were born within Toshiro Kasukabe's spirit.
Me?
Just like Salmael used the individuals from Toshiro's memory as symbols of domination, there was another individual in Toshiro's heart who embodied the spirit of revolution.
Eri.
With your mind under attack, you subconsciously materialized Eri and entrusted your hope to her. This hope was the power of your persona, the thing that Salmael was trying to destroy before it fully formed.
So in effect, this is what you're saying, yes? Salmael created the kingdom to try and quash the potential of Toshiro's power.
Amazing drawing.
In response, Toshiro's heart created Arena as a symbol of revolution, the keeper of his power. So every battle the Rebel Corps fought was ultimately an effort to protect Toshiro's will.
Oh, not bad, Fox.
I can't let you take all the glory, can I?
What are you trying to prove to her anyways?
Things were looking pretty grim before the Phantom Thieves got here, so I'm not sure if I'd have lasted much longer.
You had only a fraction of power, but it was also very faint. It stands to reason that you would be unable to stave off Salmael's invasion on your own. However, no matter how persistently Salmael attacked, it was never able to completely wither out your will. Thus, hitting the limits of its patience, Salmael opted for a last resort. That is when it must have dragged the real Toshiro Kasukabe into this metaverse.
And then it used my fiancé, my father, and my imposter. Each one of my traumas trying to corner me.
I believe that is the last memo. As I have like memo updates in the game. See, I already mentioned it. This is the final chapter. Though not the final video, obviously. There's so much more to this game. But we are coming close to the end.
It wasn't able to break Toshiro's heart with Arena defending it, so it went for the throat instead.
Ugh, seriously? Using a person's memories to try and break them down emotionally is some real sick stuff.
You got that right. For the people? Who's it kidding?
But that didn't go according to plan either, did it?
No, it did not. Therefore, it would stand to reason that Salmael is also in a difficult position. The fact that it showed itself would seem to indicate the intention to settle things with its own hands.
Which means we're in for a head-to-head fight, right?
Correct. We just have to win.
You have the general idea. I know we went through all this relatively quickly, but we will be arriving shortly. I will be happy to answer any more questions to the best of my ability after we arrive.
Thank you, Miss Lavenza. To put it plainly, the enemy is yet another nosy god wannabe.
Yep, we fight a lot of those in this entire franchise.
But when has that ever stopped the Phantom Thieves?
I think the only god, true, actual god that is fought in the Persona series is Q1's Chronos. It's less, in that case, it's less of a shadow, kind of, but more just the inevitability of time. And we less defeated and more put things back together. I don't know, it's been a while since I've beat Q1, or seen much of Q1. But yeah. The inevitability of time.
Pardon me. We will be arriving momentarily, everyone. Are all your preparations in order?
Hell yeah! Bring it on!
Would have liked to enjoy this pleasant train ride a bit longer, but I suppose that will have to wait until we clean up this mess.
Our morale couldn't be higher. Onwards!
No cause for concern, I see. Very well. I will take us right in.
Huh?
We have arrived safely. Please, watch your step getting off.
Excuse me, but is that what you call safe?
The world did 3 whole rotations.
I'm dizzy.
Sorry. Could I get a bag or something?
Ugh. Anyhow, looks like we made it to the enemy stronghold.
Do you think Samael's waiting up ahead?
Yes, but I wouldn't expect a warm reception. I would suggest going further only when amply prepared.
Let's end this once and for all.
Final battle. Let's get the win and stop this nutcase for good.
Kind of.
Yeah. And I'll settle the score with my past once and...
You don't make it easy to have a cool exit, do you?
Unfortunately, I think this has probably reached half an hour. Yeah, this has reached half an hour. But I don't. Do we have access to this quest?
Sure have a come back
No.
again later.
Okay, we do actually have to go through a little bit before we have access to the final 4 quests in the game. Yes, 4. And we can do them back to back. But that will have to wait until next time. In the meantime, I am going to check my skills. Honestly, I'm pretty well equipped. But yeah, as you can see behind it, my sprite. In a bit. Toshiro is, at this point, asterisk, considered an ally, asterisk. For the intents of... I've already gone over what makes Toshiro unique, but yeah, he's also a guest character. Technically. He's not... He doesn't have any of the main party effects, and he will not appear in any missions prior to 3-boss. Or 3-boss 1. Not counting his... in this form. If you go back to the only escort mission in the entire game, he will also just not be in the state he is currently. Which is unfortunate because I really like him. get our main squad back in order. So, next time, we go over to the talks, do a little bit of velvet rooming, and see, and continue onwards. Till next time.